I'm personally not in a favor of banning. I'm in the favor of regulating. I mean, because when these 54 apps will go, earlier also, if you're aware, there have been many more apps which were banned. And these apps, according to me, are like, just a repackaging of the earlier apps. So this will like keep continuing. Like earlier also, there were some beauty cam apps which were banned. Now also you have some beauty cam apps which are being banned. So banning is not the thing, the solution. I feel it has to be about regulating, or it should be about like how you provide a certification, when a movie is coming out. There is somebody who watches the entire movie and says, the same way there needs to be a mechanism wherein, okay, if we are going to put up some things like these which are going to invade the privacy, we need to like do a thorough audit of these apps in terms of what are the permissions it's seeking, what is that it is looking into in my phone. So the moment I install it on the phone, what are the things it is accessing? There are apps which are capable of doing many more things even without asking for permissions. So even if you have said no to a gallery, they're still able to access it. So such kind of audits need to be checked. Now I understand if Google is having something like this, a feature where anybody can come and upload on it, okay, so then in that case, this also becomes a responsibility of the Google.
You see, any move by the government is based on the kinds of threat the instrument of media can be used against India. And it is well known that the Chinese believe that if you want to subdue a country, you must subdue it by making it fight against its own internal infirmities. Example, religious, political strains, etc. So these apps, in a way, become a conduit of influencing the minds of the people of India. So therefore, there is a necessity to ban all these apps.
I think it may be absolutely right because, China sees India as a competitor. Silently, it will push in so many things in today's multidimensional war. So they will keep doing it one way or the other, try to get into a society now and also pick up information.
The intrusion on Indian territory, beyond the line of control, beyond the international line of control, despite so many, ceasefire talks, etc. The intrusion into Ladakh, apparently into Arunachal, the question of stapling visas for people in Arunachal who want to go to China, the way they are flexing the muscles all the time, and the way the Indian government is looking like an ostrich on the ground, because they don't even the Prime Minister does not even utter the word China in a public meeting, as if the word China is a kind of a threat.
We have to ensure data sovereignty of the government as also of individuals. China is known to be an expert in cyber warfare, wherein they can retrieve data through cyber attacks, compromise data. So I think the IT is absolutely spot on in trying to nullify this particular threat also.
Today all our networks are lying open. The Chinese hackers could hack into the electricity grid, into banking grids, into all kinds of things. We don't have cyber defenses. We don't have a National Cyber Defense Command or something of sort. A few years ago, we had the complete blackout in North India after a hack. So I think, you need to strengthen your own defenses.
They don't want an all-out thing because India is a powerful country and we have our own standing in the world. So they will do surreptitious things.
China, as far as we are concerned, they have made a statement in their vision, in their white paper also, that they will resolve all its peripheral territorial disputes by 2050. So the build-up has to start from now. And if that be the case, it will resort not into too much of kinetic form of attack in the sense that contact warfare. It will not prefer contact warfare, but it will go in for unrestricted designer war.
Nobody knew that this was going on for such a long time. We were having deals with China. China is one of the biggest exporters of stuff to India. China is one of the biggest exporters of stuff in the international economy. China has entered Ladakh, captured Indian territory. China has killed Indian soldiers in Ladakh. China has apparently entered and made a settlement in Arunachal. They have entered into Doklam also at one point of time. China is flexing its muscles. What are we talking of national security here with some flimsy entertainment apps?
The new technologies which are emerging very fast. Drone technology and the precision weapons, satellite control weapons, and the main thing is the I would say artificial intelligence in Chinese aware. So the last fraction comes intruding into your society. It's a multifarious threat.
Imagine that if you are just, taking away 1 rupee or even just 10 rupees from your parents' wallets every day, they wouldn't realize it, right? That would be just like a 300 rupees a month, but it becomes 3,600 rupees a year, right? And in 10 years, you have taken, let's say, 36,000 rupees from your dad's wallet by just taking 10 rupees every day. This is exactly what is happening over here. By just focusing on individuals, by targeting individuals on a daily basis via so many apps and the many more things, there is a widespread surveillance. That too, and we are just not talking about the mobile phones. Why did the 5G things, they have many governments of many countries have kept them away. It is because of the threat of the surveillance.
They are asserting they have a problem area in Tibet. But I think if you read the Tibet plan of China, which was debated last year, they have 5-year plan for Tibet.
Yes, we have certain industries which are highly dependent on the Chinese raw material or semi-finished product, which are there at a cheaper rate. But along with that, there were certain purchases which had been done even for our defense equipment. In the initial stages, like chips, they were, some of them were probably embedded with the Trojan Dragon. This is a bug in cyber warfare. So this could compromise our defense, I'll call equipment.
The damage has been done. The damage is also happening even right now while we are speaking. Because the damage is not restricted only to these apps. I mean, you look at all these phones that you have. Whatever phones that the lower middle class, the middle class buys over here, or even other people also who buy it. I mean, these are all Chinese mobile phones. So they have their software, they have their operating system which is over there. They have their skins, they have their own customized operating system. So I don't think so it makes any difference that forget the app. Even if those apps were not there, these guys are capable of taking away anything.
They have tried it earlier. They penetrated our forces in 50s and government was in a tizzy. Our government had to go to the extent of posting IV people in the army units. As the time is progressing, somewhere they are promoting the insurgency. Somewhere they're sending the weapons. Somewhere they are, doing communism in Nepal. Always they have a big stronghold in JNK.
All this kind of data, with all the data analytics and everything going to the individual level, whether it's his health, the individual's financial system, whether he's in a job or a business or his likes, dislikes, traveling, everything is something that people are hungry for. And with this, a mass-scale cyber attack is definitely possible. So the government, yes, it's late. Not only just late, it's not doing enough.
Our beloved Prime Minister, he said he has a 1+ relationship with President Xi Jinping. And this is the kind of foolishness you got to avoid. So China is by nature an aggressive power. And the fact that they've got the world dependent on them makes them even more obnoxious.
If they are correct, then let them give some evidence. Because it's a government-to-government interaction. It's a question of foreign policy and diplomacy, which are very delicate and tricky areas. You just cannot, even Russia does not blame America and America does not blame Russia. Though it was very, very clear that the Russians had hacked into the emails of the American system to expose Hillary Clinton and make her weak candidate in front of Donald Trump. Even the Americans and Russians are not doing it. They would rather do some investigation into it and then come out openly. If the Ministry of Electronics really has evidence, it will be very good if they come out and give the evidence and put it in United Nations and international forum and let there be an act of diplomacy to show that China is doing it.
Diplomacy is, of course, a very strong tool, but the reliability, as far as China is concerned, to be genuine in its approach is questionable. They have let us down. They created kind of a mirage in 62, Hindi Chini bye bye, and then they stabbed us in the back. The Chinese cannot be trusted for what they say. They have deep-rooted aims which are in perspective, say 15 years hence or 20 years hence. So they will create a scenario of faith and then take advantage of that faith.
How many apps will you keep banning? There needs to be some solution to this. Now look at Apple. Not that I'm saying that there are apps on Apple which don't infringe your privacy. Of course there are, but if you look at the quantity, if you look at the numbers, it's much more on the Play Store. And where I think Google's experts, Google's Play Store team needs to step in, and so does even the government.
We cannot stop now dealing with China, and dependency on China should be reduced. But this will be a gradual process. We cannot suddenly close down the dependency of some of our MSMEs on the Chinese product.
So, we're highly dependent on them. We've got to cast around for alternate sources. We've got to see if we can get IT, chip foundries, whether we can get some of these Taiwanese companies to invest in mobile phones, etc.
Countries' sovereign data sovereignty as also individual data sovereignty, that cannot be compromised. Electronic chips are the best media or any other electronic system which is there to implant a bug which can be activated at the time of own choosing by China. For instance, in the army, when we buy communication sets, there is a ban already that there will be no Chinese component used in it.
There needs to be a surveillance by our own government, but not on the people, but on the platforms to understand what's happening. That's the first thing that needs to be done, because the moment the government sees there are these people who are coming onto these into the cyberspace and luring our citizens over here with all these fake things, it needs to act immediately. An eye for an eye, I know it makes the whole world blind, but not in the cyber.